Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am T Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. In 2015, HYT decided to tackle the memento mori genre of watchmaking with its first H1 Skull watch. Today, we have the HYT H1 Skull Mother of Pearl in grade 5 titanium. This, an edition of one, is a piece unique. It is large at 51 millimeters in diameter. The watch is 18.8 millimeters thick and 57.1 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a tweener size of 24.5 millimeters, the distance between the lug horns. I'll throw this watch on my wrist, but I'll let you know right out of the gate, while some HYT watches are big but wear small, this one is big and it wears big. Being sapphire, rubber, and titanium for the most part, it's lighter than you'd expect, but the look is going to be big. Now, I could wear this securely. It would fit, it would sit. I think we need a wide shot to get a sense of this one in proportion. You see my Reuter off to the side there. But this is how it looks on my wrist. So if you want something that is large, in charge, big, bold, and declaring itself and you and making an arrival, whether you like it or not, this is the watch. This is a timepiece that is anything but bashful. It's not for shrinking violets. That said, if I wanted to wear it, it would fit and sit comfortably. I just think for me, this is a little too brash. If you're very Miami, very LA, very Vegas, this might be the watch for you. So it'll fit on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist. I'm recommending 18 or up if you want it to look even vaguely proportional. It is nicely made, though, as you can see, a strap that fully integrates with the case. It's actually white, large rectangular scale alligator leather. It's contrasted very minimally with a monotone stitch, a sheer cut side, and a white rubber underlay. So the strap is almost completely monotone. You can just barely see a difference in the material from side to top. When I first saw it, I thought it was a full white rubber strap, but it is a wonderful high-grade symmetrical scale, large rectangular scale cut of alligator, and that is always the highest and most expensive grade of the alligator hide. Brand new HYT factory strap, no crimping, no gouging, and the rubber will separate the moisture, heat, oil, and sweat of the skin from the leather, so it'll last a long time. We have a trigger-actuated single folding clasp. You have to press both triggers to pop it open. You can see in profile we have satination and media blast. We have satination across the top, and a clever little push-button adjustment system inside, so you can micro-adjust. You can see there are a few little stops in there, but you push the button, and you've got a micro-tuning adjuster, so you can fine-tune the fit when it's on the wrist if you're in between perforation sizes. Now, I have the crown out right now. It screws down. There are some screw-down HYT watches. This one's more water-resistant than most, with a screw-down crown and a 50-meter rating. Surface swimming is probably fine in this watch, but again, the strap being leather, you're not going to want to take it swimming. Now, let me show you how this system works. You have two different reservoirs. These are actually made in Philadelphia, right around where I am. The manufacturer of these foil reservoirs that act as compressible holding tanks for the two fluids. They're driven by a cam, which in turn is driven by a conventional Swiss lever escapement. So while the look is very unconventional, it has a conventional heartbeat, escapement, and drive system. And the cam, you can see it right there, that operates, will drive one fluid in one direction and the other fluid in the other. So there's actually two immiscible fluids here. One is blue, one is clear. The meniscus between them represents the hour. Now the fluid comes up, you can see 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and as it advances, it will actually reach the end of its travel, and when it does reach the end of its travel, you can see that it retrogrades rather dramatically all the way back to the beginning, and it starts at 6 again. So the speed with which it moves, and I don't know how well you can see this, but the compression of the pistons and decompression is happening in real time. And if you look, it's actually a tangible movement. The retrograding action of the minutes display on this watch is probably the most entertaining part of the experience, other than the fact that it has a giant skull. Now, taking a quick look, there's actually a bit more than meets the eye. We have a running seconds indicator over at 9 o'clock, and then over at 3 o'clock, we have a little power reserve indicator. So push the crown back in. You can see as I wind it, 65-hour power reserve, the eye goes from black to pink. So that is your power reserve indicator. It becomes clear and monotone in pink. the more it's wound. Again, we also have that running seconds indicator over at 9 o'clock. So technically, this is a regulator because you have your seconds and then you have your hours, and that's how that works. Now, I also described the minutes. The way you gauge minutes here, it's sort of like a slow watch. So you have to just read where the meniscus is in between the hours. That's how you gauge the minutes. This is for a person who is not counting every minute. And again, due to the memento mori reminding us of the onrush of certain death, maybe you don't want to count every minute. I think that's the philosophical conceit behind this design. There is no loom. Some HYT watches do have loom. This one does not. You could see that there's a combination of blue mother of pearl and white mother of pearl, which has excellent prismatic qualities. A lot of different colors come exploding out of them. There's also a sort of holographic depth known as chatoyancy or cat's eye property. Taking a quick look, you can see that there's a little wire polished border around the skull, as well as the apertures for the eyes and the nose, media blasted within the recesses. We also have a polished and satinated case. This is grade 5 titanium, which, like grade 2, is light and hypoallergenic, but unlike grade 2, it's more scratch resistant than steel, which is nice to have. You can see the contouring of the case. We have media blast and polish on the crown, screw down crown with a rubber shoulder. On the reverse side, you can see that HYT H1 movement. This was their first caliber. It was developed in conjunction with noted movement engineering specialist Chronode, whose many feats include, among others, MB&F and the Harry Winston Opus series. So Chronode is high-grade stuff. We also have a full dual-anchored balance bridge to better brace against shock. All of this beaten away at 4 hertz or 28,800 vibrations per hour, pivoting on 35 joules. And you can see it is a very conventional Swiss lever escapement on the back. There are some nice finishing flourishes. We have some handsome mirrored beveling, black polished screw heads. We have stripes across the bridges. We also have media blasting on some of the bridge components, and then solarization on the ratchet wheel with a little bit of engine turning visible on the base plate. So a good looking watch, but definitely a bold play. This is a watch for a guy who's got the confidence and the wrist and the budget to pull it off. But HYT, one of the most unique, original, and intriguing time indication systems in the world, one of the few for which you cannot say Breguet did it first. HYT's fluidic display concept was absolutely and remains absolutely their own. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.